A major Super Smash Bros. Ultimate character leak came into focus last week, and it is a hefty list of 11 characters with code names, but we specifically stayed away from this one because, to be blunt, it seems pretty darn fake. But there still is an interesting idea here, because one of the main reasons we feel this is fake, besides it just kind of being way too perfect, is that Sakurai specifically stated, hey, I hope you weren't expecting too many new characters. This game is about bringing the roster back together. But after doing some research and digging into Sakurai's past, there may be more than meets the eye. Gabe, this list is interesting, I guess, and people have been very obsessed over it for a few days now, trying to decipher who these codenamed characters are. But again, I think both of us feel that it's wholly wrong.
Correct. But yeah, Sakurai has a history of saying things, right? And then changing his mind a little bit, right?
Yes, and look, Sakurai is a legendary developer. He seems like an incredibly good-hearted man, so in no way are we slighting the famed creator. But sometimes the things he says maybe shouldn't be taken at face value. First, though, let's look at this leak. It comes from 4chan, very suspicious. And look, like, I guess there is a 0.1% chance that this is real. Das Vergeben came through with his leaks pre-E3, and they ended up panning out. This one is just, like, way all over the place. It says basically 2 characters a month, or sometimes 1 character. In July, we'll get King and Ponytail in a mini direct. I don't think there's a mini direct in July, and supposedly this would be King K. Rool and Dixie. Then they say Old Man in August, who could be Heihachi or Cranky. They say Archer in September in another direct, which people theorize is Decidueye. Then Simon Belmont and Isabelle from Animal Crossing in a Smash direct in October. I mean, it just goes on and on. It almost just seems like someone is, just feeding into the hype and the hope of fans everywhere, right?
Yeah, this is a little bit too wishful, and again, unless Sakurai just can't be trusted, and I don't want to say that because I think he can be, then, like, there's no way that all of this pans out. I don't think so.
Right, so again, our official position is that this is completely bogus. And Sakurai did say, don't expect too many characters, but I want to dive back, Gabe, into the history of Sakurai, and I want to cover a couple points here. The first one is going to be on current fan-favorite newcomer Ridley, because back in the day, in 2014, Sakurai specifically said that Ridley could not be a playable character. He said, quote, I definitely know that Ridley's a much anticipated name for fans, but if we made Ridley as a fighter, it wouldn't be Ridley any longer. It'd have to be shrunk down, or its wings reduced in size, or be unable to fly around freely. Providing accurate characters of portrayal is something I want to pay ample attention to. And he says, if I don't stick to that thought, we'd have to lower the quality or break the balance of the game. Now, maybe this is just one where technology and creativity allowed him to unleash Ridley upon the masses, and that's really cool. I want to take you, Gabe, to Exhibit B here, which is a photo from the development of Smash Brawl, where he specifically calls out characters that would not be plausible, and it says characters like the above will not appear if it does not seem plausible for them to fight, and he specifically references Villager and Nintendogs. Now, we know that Villager is a character, and again, maybe these are too specific of examples for you, Gabe. Like, maybe these were just cases where it just didn't line up, it didn't match up, but Sakurai has again and again made statements that end up sort of not wholly being how the game ends up. He talks about, in 2013, how there's no plans for DLC for Smash 4. He says, for now, you could consider DLC as not being in the cards. And it continues to just sort of expand out and be larger and larger scale, where he talks about how Smash 4 would not focus on a bigger roster. He says, in terms of quantity, we've probably already reached the limit of what's feasible. I think a change of direction may be what's needed. And as you go sort of back in time, he referenced how he felt the roster sweet spot was in the 30s. And then, if we look at just the rosters across the franchise, it went from 12 in the original to 26 in Melee, 39 in Brawl, 58 in Smash 4, and currently 68, including the Echo Fighters for Ultimate. basically the point I'm trying to make here is that
He changes his mind a lot.
yeah, an expansion and new fighters seems to be something that he fights against or in his head does not want. And then whether it's due to appeasing fans or whether it's due to, and I quote, the amount of stress I feel, it's almost the brink of death, which is such an intense statement from 2013 and almost sad in a way. Like, because of trying to appease or because of trying to make the best game possible, he wants to add and add and add. And so him saying that please don't expect too much, I mean, he's almost constantly saying that. And I guess that's the highlight I wanted to really bring your attention to here, is that he always is saying, in terms of scope, we've reached the limit. In terms of, how we can expand this, we've reached the limit. In terms of size of character, like, it's so stressful. It's multiplication, it's not addition. He goes on and saying, like, it takes a lot to fully flesh out these characters in this universe, and you got to find the right fits, and you got to make the right deals, and yet it always ends up happening. So while I don't believe the leak is the path to follow, I don't know that we don't get 11 new characters.
Yeah, I mean, 11 still sounds like a lot, right? Because then the amount of playable characters is up in the 70s again, if you're including Echo characters. That's so much, and that's intimidating. And I mean, even if there is no new characters, I feel like the amount of characters already in the game is kind of intimidating. But people want it, people know what Smash is. I think that'll be okay. But yeah, Sakurai seems like a human who has a lot of trouble with. He wants to be perfect, and being perfect is very difficult. And yeah, I don't know. Again, to me, it just kind of seems like he changes his mind a lot. That's where I want to kind of land with it. I don't want to say too much about the man. I don't know him. So.
Right. Well, and he's talked about, they couldn't include everyone before. There's no way. And then that's his complete focus for this game. He talks about how he never thought there would be another one after Wii U, and then they're making the biggest one ever. So,
I mean, he's been quitting for the last 3 games. Like, he's always saying, this is my last one.
There is the possibility that there will be a bunch of new characters. And maybe you say, okay, this one is really close to the finish line. He's making these statements far later on in the cycle. And okay, maybe this time he really is just being blunt and honest, and that's where it's at. And he knows what's up.
I have a question.
Yes.
Are we sure this is the finish line? Because he has alluded multiple times to maybe not being able to get it out in time. He keeps saying that getting...
There's no way this game doesn't come out.
No, I understand that. But he said it a couple of times now, that it's very difficult to get this game out by the date.
Yes, I think game development is a very testing and stressful process for young Sakurai here. And while I don't think there will be any delay, there could be DLC, there could be new characters, and I definitely think we'll get at least a few before the launch. So this list here, guys, it's making the rounds. I don't think we're getting King and Archer and Old Man and Mech. Although I did have a dream, Gabe, and I will add this as an anecdote, that King K. Rool got announced for Smash, and I was just crying. I just could not stop sobbing because I was so happy. And it was so weird to me when I woke up, because, like, man, I don't think I could really be that affected by a Smash character announcement. But we shall see. If King K. Rool gets announced and I don't have tears, then I will be disappointed. But yeah, let us know your take in the comments down below, how you feel about the Smash roster. Are you convinced that there's maybe going to be 1 or 2 more and a few Echo fighters to sort of fill in the gaps of, entirely brand new additions? Or do you think that this is another case of an unintentional ruse where there will be a lot, and Sakurai is constantly under-promising and over-delivering and trying to reduce scope and ending up ballooning in size? It is, like, there is a history here, Gabe, and it's not just a one-time thing. It's not just a small-scale thing. It's not just a large-scale thing. It is in individual instances. It is in conceptual instances, and it is an entire, I mean, he says there will never be another game, and then there almost always is. So it's definitely interesting. I think it's one of the most fascinating, like, specific examples of game development and how a person in charge, like, their thought process evolves, changes, and just how that entire cycle, really ends up different than it started.
I am fascinated by him as a human.
Yeah, it's definitely super interesting, and I hope that whatever he does, it doesn't stress him out too much, because that seems to be a recurring theme that hopefully this one, even bringing the gang back together and getting some new faces, won't be so bad. Let us know your take in the comments down below, everybody. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe to stay up to date on all the latest and greatest from the Switch and Smash Bros. Ultimate. Follow us on Twitter and Discord, links in the description below. And until next time, thanks again for watching. Have a great day. For myself and Gabe, Switch Force out.